And why would anyone want to target Kim Jong-nam specifically?
Because Kim Jong-nam is a member of the North Korean royal family of the Kim dynasty who is older than Kim Jong-un. Now, up until the late 90s, he was the front runner to take over from Kim Jong-il, their joint father. He then blotted his copybook in various ways and was effectively forced into exile. But it looks as if Kim Jong-un decided that as long as he was alive, he presented a possible dynastic threat to his reign.
And what do you think we can learn about the character of Kim Jong-un from this whole incredible story?
Well, a man who firstly executes his own uncle and then has his own half-brother killed using a nerve gas in an airport probably isn't showing the greatest extent of humanity, is he? Ruthless, brutal even, and quite determined to get his own way.
And do you think that he's a threat to the rest of the world?
Well, yes. Not because he killed Kim Jong-nam, reprehensible though that is, but because he is developing nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them. And if we don't do something fairly soon, he will be able to deliver nuclear tipped missiles rather, to the United States, which of course will be a very dangerous situation.
And of course, the assessment that you've just given of his character makes that possibility even more troubling. How do you think the international community should react then to this leader?
We have to do something fairly fast. Sanctions have had considerable effect, but they haven't stopped the development of weapons of mass destruction. A lot of people call for negotiations with North Korea, which, of course, we're all in favour of negotiations. The trouble is the North Koreans have made very clear that they have no intention whatever of surrendering their nuclear weapons. So we'll probably have to apply a certain amount of pressure.
John Everard, thank you very much for your thoughts.
Thank you.
Now, Donald Trump has escalated his attacks on the US media, promising to lead the fight against what he calls fake news.
I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Because they have no sources, they just make them up when there are none. They're very dishonest people. In fact, in covering my comments, the dishonest media did not explain that I called the fake news the enemy of the people, the fake news.
Well, Siobhan Robbins is live in Oxon Hill in Maryland, where the president has been speaking. And Siobhan, what did you make of his speech?
This was an incredibly warm response that he got here, but this was essentially a speech of a returning hero coming home, bringing back the trophy. He's spoken at CPAC in the past. He actually told the crowd here this is where he first thought of running for president. So he really was coming back to say, look what I've done. I'm the boy who's done good. And then it really turned into one of those traditional Donald Trump campaign rallies where he listed off his greatest hits. He talked about bringing jobs back to America. He talked about building the wall as well. He talked about the fake press that we heard. Here's a clip of some of the things he's been talking about today.
For too long, we've traded away our jobs to other countries. So terrible. We've defended other nations' borders while leaving ours wide open. Anybody can come in. Oh, we're going to build the wall. Don't worry about it. We're building the wall. We're building the wall. In fact, it's going to start soon. Way ahead of schedule.
You heard there the warm response when he mentioned building the wall, people spontaneously shouting, build a wall, build a wall. There are also spontaneous shouts of we love you throughout this speech, as well as rounds of applause. He mentioned again his favourite policy, the travel ban Mark II. He said again will be coming next week. And interestingly, again, he did that reference that we heard in Florida, saying look at what's happening in Germany, look at what's happening in France, but again mentioning Sweden, even though he did make a joke of it. So that was slightly confusing. But here he has been treading again on very familiar ground, really just listing those campaign promises. And although that plays really well to an audience here, even his supporters are going to need some policy to back up those headlines, because still it's very light on policy and the headlines won't keep him going much longer.
Siobhan, thank you. Well, now it's time for a look at the day's other main stories. Tributes have been paid to a woman